Okay, so this is the second step in getting your Boxtop ready for lasering and cutting it on the laser. So the first thing is we want to get a tracing of your icon or your logo design. So I'm going to select it. You know it's selected when it has this pink little X in the middle of it right there, and usually has a red box, red coloring around it. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to click this button up here on the top that says bitmap handle, BMP right there is in the top area. I'm going to click that one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit apply to view. And then I'm going to click get outline. Sometimes it takes a couple of moments. It's pretty, yeah. And so you can see all these dots. That's showing you where the outline is. And that's good. And then you're going to click OK. Okay. So then it usually takes a moment as well to kind of bring the outline to the design. It's a pretty high definition design, so it usually takes a moment or two. You just sort of have to wait while it's doing that. And there it is. Now I've got the design. So we've got two things here. We've got our design, our original design, and our tracing. We want to get rid of our original design. So I'm just going to click sort of in this white space, and that's because that's part of my original design. I'm going to drag it over here by dragging X, and you can see we now have our original and our tracing. So I'm going to delete the original. So it's selected, hit delete on the keyboard, and delete. Since we saved before, I'm just going to hit the save button. Every now and then you want to hit the save. Remember, it does have my name up here, Willie period laser Boxtop RLD. That's just saving it. So, every now and then when I do things, I can save it. The other thing I want to do is I want to group my design. So I'm going to drag a box around it completely. And I'm going to hit this button up here, which is group. So now it's grouped as one thing. It won't come apart. And I'm going to shrink it down, and I'm going to drag it. You can also use the arrow keys to move it around. I'm going to make it a little smaller, drag in the corner box there, a little bit more. And then I'm going to put it on my ruler. So it's right there. Okay, so now the next step is to sort of get all the different things ready for lasering. Some things we're going to laser right onto the surface. Some things we're going to cut all the way through. So the first thing we need to do is let's get all the things that we're just going to laser on the surface. On the surface, I'm going to laser the ruler, my design, my lettering, and these letters right here. So I'm going to select all those. So I'm going to pull a box around the letters there. So you'll notice I've just pulled a box all around the numbers and the hash marks for the ruler, and I'm going to turn those red. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my design, and I'm also going to turn that red. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a box around my name, and I'm also going to turn that red. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a box around these ones and turn those red. And then I'm going to drag a box around those and turn those red as well. So everything I've turned red is going to be, I'm going to laser on the surface. I hope I did the wrong red on those. Red. Around those, red. Great. So now I just have, you'll notice up here in the layers area, I only have two different layers. So now I'm going to select this outer box, and I'm going to turn that black. And then I'm going to select this shape here and also turn that black. So I have two different layers. I have a red layer for the surface of the laser cut, and I have a black layer that I'm going to cut all the way through. Those are the two things I'm going to do. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is now I need to go to my layer menu and set the parameters for the laser cut. So I'm going to double click the red layer. Because I'm cutting, I want to change the speed to 20. It might already be 20. And since this is the red layer, I'm going to change it to 15 minimum power and 15 maximum power. Make sure the processing mode says cut. So once again, speed 20 millimeters per second. Processing mode should be cut. Minimum power 15%. Then I'm going to click on the black layer here. So you can see it's black. We had red, and now we have black. Also 20. I'm going to cut all the way through. So I'm going to set this to 75 power on both my minimum and my maximum. Speeds at 20. Processing mode is cut. And the most important part is to click OK. Do not press enter on your keyboard, click OK. And so now you can actually check the parameters of these, making sure. You'll notice over here on the right-hand side where I'm moving my mouse. So once again, the color, black, red, 15, 15. That's the inner cuts. Those aren't going to cut all the way through. Those are just on the surface. And then hit the black, 75, 75, 20, priority 2. Perfect. It means it's going to do it second. And the last thing we want to do before we sort of get it ready for lasering is you want to go to configure here, system setting, and we're going to move the laser head to the upper left-hand corner, and we're going to click close, and then that should be good. Everything else should be all set and ready to go. One thing you do want to be cautious of is not getting your designs too close to the edge of the design. So I'm just going to move this one down because you might have to sand your lid to make it fit. So I'm just going to drag a box around my lettering there. I'm going to bump it away from the edge. I'm not worried about these being away from close to the edge because that will be, we want those close to the edge as ruler marking, as centimeter markings. So everything looks good, ready to go. We've got our two different layers, our cut layer through, our cut surface layer, and you're all set. So one final save. And then the last step will be on putting the design into the folder so that I can grab it and laser it.